pro-America. Why is that so terrifying to people? Why are Democrat voters so stupid? I mean, why do they hate Trump so bad? What did he do to be hated so bad? I don't get it, man. He didn't do. I mean, they haven't been sticking any crimes on him. They've already proven all the crimes they put on him were fucking contrived and faked, and they ain't even done anything about it. They know Hillary Clinton was behind the Pissgate. They know it. They already found out. Nothing's ever going to happen to her. Who are these Democrats that believe, that think that Joe Biden is not a fucking dirty bastard? And who are these people? Where do you find these people at? I mean, Joe Biden is a fucking career criminal, man. He's a career parasite, government parasite. We got him on tape talking about, we're not going to give you that $1 billion until you fire this prosecutor who was investigating his own son. We've got him on tape saying that. Why is that not just the end of it? Okay, all right, well, boom. We kind of suspected he was really, really corrupt, but we didn't really know. But I guess we know now. Oh, and especially when we got those emails when his son was talking about the big man gets 10%. We know who the big man is. Those deals were fucked up. It was with the Chinese, man. What about him selling our fucking strategic oil reserve to China? Okay. What about him taking a shower with his daughter? And he wrote that in the fucking. That's in that diary they found that the FBI like arrested people over, which they really shouldn't have. She said that he took a shower with her when she was too old, like as in puberty, and it was very, very uncomfortable. All right, we got that. We know that's true. We know Hunter Biden carried an illegal weapon with him because he's a felon. He's not supposed to own a firearm. We know that he works for a fake energy company with no experience whatsoever, which was just an embezzlement. We know that. We know that he slept with underage girls because we got that on tape. All right. We know Biden's a criminal because we've got him on tape extorting and bribing and blackmailing the fucking Ukrainian president. I mean, there's no argument about it. We know this. So, meanwhile, we also know that he's destroyed our economy completely. Do you know that 70% of British pubs are getting ready to go out of business? 70%, 7 out of 10, because they can't afford energy for the winter. Because of this stupid fucking globalist bullshit, fucking Green New Deal crap. They don't believe in climate change. They don't believe it's existential. If they did, Barack Obama wouldn't own $10 million worth of property in Martha's Vineyard right on the beach. Now, really? Would he? They know it's a lie. I mean, I'm not saying it's not real, but they know it's not an existential threat. I saw something on the news the other day where they were fearing that by 2100, that the glaciers that are melting in Greenland, which is cyclical anyway, it happens. They melt, they come back. They melt, they come back. Nothing ever stays the same. The only thing that stays the same is change itself. So they said it would rise by 10 inches by 2100. Wah! I mean, really, think about all the fucking farmland that's going to open up if we heat up 2 degrees. Siberia, fucking the taiga and the tundra in Canada. We're going to have billions of hectares of land that are going to become farmable. Climate change is not that big a deal. It's just not. But they want you to think it is, so you can't drive your car through the countryside anymore. They want us crammed into cities. I'm telling you, man, I want to know why these Democrats, they can't even tell you why they don't like Trump. They can't tell you because there's nothing, because he hasn't done anything. He's had the FBI up his butthole ever since he started running for president. They haven't found anything. The man is clean as a whistle. He's probably the cleanest politician in politics of our generation. They couldn't get him on nothing. Yes, it has. That's true. So, all you have to do is think. I know no stupid liberals are going to watch this anyway because they're fucking assholes. They got their minds set, man. They got them set, but it's wrong. Everything they believe is wrong. That speech the other night that Joe Biden made about how MAGA Republicans are this and they're that and the other, that was very dangerous because There's one thing to not agree with your political opponents, but don't demonize them. Don't say, and to say that they're that they're a threat to democracy is such a laughable thing to say. We all know what happened in the last election, okay? We all know how many dead people voted that did not exist. All right, we also know that the border's wide open, and we know why. That's subverting democracy right there. All they're doing is bringing in another voter base, and they know it. That's exactly what they're doing. So, how can there be any sane human being on this planet that can honestly think that Donald Trump is a worse human being than fucking Joe Biden? Joe Biden is a career criminal, fucking taking showers with his goddamn own daughter. Shit, we know this. It's in her diary. I mean, this is not bullshit. I mean, this is absolutely true. We also know he's an extortionist. We know that that he blackmailed the president of Ukraine because we got it on fucking tape. We know that he was the big man that Hunter Biden kept talking about that was getting when he was making all these underhanded deals with the Chinese that they found on that laptop. We know all these things. These are not things that FBI even needs to investigate. There's proof of it. So how can there be anybody in this world that's like, oh my God, Donald Trump is so terrible, and would still vote Democrat after all this stuff that's happened? I mean, like I said, 70% of British pubs are going out of business. We're going to have, you realize that even though climate change, ha 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 ha, is what everybody worries about, about 5 times more people die from cold every year than they do from that, right? And this year is going to be a record amount because Europe can't heat itself this year. You ain't gonna believe it. The Germans are cutting trees down to heat themselves because energy's become so expensive. Because we feel the need to embezzle all this money through Ukraine. Nobody gives a fuck about Ukraine, man. All we're doing is using as an opportunity to steal from the American taxpayer. All that money that's going over to these corrupt oligarchs is getting fucking laundered, man. Why are Democrats so dumb? I have got to understand this. They can't explain to you why they don't like Trump, because everything they say about him, you can actually debunk. There's nothing that time they said he made fun of a handicapped guy. Wrong, he did not. That's a lie. He always does this thing every time he's talking to. I can show you videos of him doing this 10 or 15 times to different people. I don't think he realized the reporter back there had a gimp arm. They jumped on that. And they said he was making fun of a handicapped person, but he wasn't. I mean, that's the whole reason some people don't like Trump. But I'm going to tell you right now, he can make fun of the elephant man if he wants to, as long as he gets his fucking economy going. Dude, we're doomed. If these Democrats don't get out in November, we're fucking doomed. I mean, we really are. It's over with for us. Because we're not going to manage. The border is wide open. There's 100,000 people a month coming through there. They don't seem to mind too much about COVID at the border. They're letting these people on planes with no fucking ID. Really? You know how many times I fucking sat in line and had to get my finger stuck up my butthole to get on an airplane, and they're just going to let them, oh no, they're good, don't let them right through. It's not fair, and it's not racist to say it's not fair. Because, see, you guys, the Democrats and the liberals have allowed themselves to equate any disagreement with the Democrat policy with being racist, but it's nothing to do with it. And y'all just buy it hook, line, and sinker. Oh, the MAGA Republicans are... Let me tell you something. The MAGA Republicans, so-called MAGA Republicans, you know what they want? They want to be able to keep their fucking guns so they can protect themselves. Most of them live in the country. You got to have firearms in the country, really. I mean, and especially at a time when Democrat policies towards law enforcement has caused crime to spike 300% in some places. I mean, there's never been a time where you need guns any worse than you do right now. All right, they don't want the guns taken. They don't want the children being taught all this insanity, and then they lie about the fucking that thing in Florida that passed that they could say the "don't say gay." It never even fucking said it. All it said was kids until they get 8 years old do not need to be turned on to any kind of sexual information. I mean, leave them alone, let them be innocent up until that point. And after that point, it's fine. You can start teaching you a little sex education, but they won't want to do that. They want to ram this fucking LGBT bullshit and trans bullshit up their fucking asses when they pop their heads out the womb. I mean, and so that's all that law stated. Why do they even call it the Don't Say Gay? But Democrats are so, Democrat and liberals are so fucking stupid and misinformed, and they rely on news channels that are owned by the Democrat Party, that they actually believe all this shit. Like, they believe it's the Don't Say Gay law. No, it's not. Nobody ever said don't say gay. That's a fucking lie. All they said is you cannot teach children up to 8 years old sex education, which has always been kind of a duh. I mean, duh. You know, what they're doing is they're fucking using the education system to turn our children into little communists, because that's what they want. They want communism. They do not want our way of government. People talk about capitalism as this, that. Capitalism is natural. That's what people do naturally. Nobody invented it. I mean, when we were fucking cavemen, if I found a goddamn some truffles or something, and you had a fucking, I don't know, a bird you shot with your little, and we traded for them, that's capitalism, man. You know what I mean? It's like, if I had an overabundance of them, I'd trade for more. Capitalism is natural. That's what human beings do. We trade with each other for our own benefit and for the benefit, and it ends up benefiting the whole. You know, communism is contrived, but they don't want capitalism anymore because the people have too much power and they can't take over the world as easy. They look over there at the way China's got shit locked down and they just lick their fucking chops. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Democrat Party, who is in collusion with the fucking World Economic Forum and the Klaus Schwabians and all those fucking morons, you know, that are preaching this climate change bullshit. I mean, climate change is not existential. It's fucking stupid to think it is. If it was existential, and if it was in 12 years we're going to be dead, Barack Obama would not have bought ever how many millions of dollars worth of fucking property on Martha's Vineyard right by the fucking right on the ocean. He would not have done it. They are laughing at all these idiot Democrat fucking just imbeciles. I mean, yeah, you know, I don't even understand why they're still. Even some of my friends, I mean, they're never going to change their mind because they're so deeply programmed. And like, if they change their mind about one little aspect of it, it's like their whole worldview would crumble or something. They're afraid of that. I don't know what it is, but it's very scary that good people can be this dumb. I mean, because that's all it is stupidity in this world. I mean, you've had the FBI investigate Trump so many times, and half the times were really illegal. It was really just a political persecution is all it was. And they haven't found anything on him. Are you crazy? If they looked at the Bidens or the Obamas or the Clintons or the Bushes with this high-powered microscope with which they keep on Donald Trump, man, good Lord, there would be, they couldn't do it. Because these are truly corrupt individuals. I mean, they're terrible people. The Obamas are terrible people. The Bidens are terrible people. The fucking Bushes are terrible people. The Clintons are fucking horrible people. But you still got all these millions and millions and millions of people in the United States of America that cannot see this. I mean, it's not even conjecture. It's not something you see on MSNBC. It's something that any smart person will know just because it's true. I mean, damn, man. It's like, how could you not know this? And what they've done to people to make them hate this man so bad. It's not just the man, it's the movement. It's the populist movement. Populist movement, elitists always hate a populist movement because it takes the power away from the elitists. You know, all these fucking people like Nancy fucking Pelosi and fucking Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, these people are fucking evil, man. They're trying to destroy everything about our lives. You just wait, but the bullet's going to hit the bone soon because people are going to start to be cold this winter because they don't even afford energy. And, you know, who gives a goddamn fuck if Vladimir Putin or whatever takes Ukraine? Who fucking cares? He wants to make money. He's still going to keep the farms. I mean, it doesn't matter. Ukraine is just as corrupt as Russia is. They're fucking, I mean, these people are, you know, it's like, it's one thing to feel bad. I hate war too. And I hate to see people dying. But, I mean, what did Russia do when they watched us invade 20 countries over the last 50 years? I mean, it's so hypocritical. And we're just dumping money into Ukraine. And it's fucked up the energy sector in Europe so bad that they're going to have a record number of deaths from this winter. They're not going to be able to heat their homes. 70% of British pubs are closing down because they cannot afford heat over the winter. 70%. So much for your fish and chips. And it's all these World Economic Forum fucking... They're using climate change to do what they want to do. And what they want to do is they want to kill off as many people as possible. They want to get rid of any notion of private property. They want international socialism. It's what they've always wanted, and they want to sit at the top of it and just control everybody. And these people are initiated in these secret societies. They don't give a fuck about human beings. I mean, you know, the first step to realizing how stupid this whole fucking Democrat Party and the liberals are and all this shit is if you realize they don't care about you, and they don't. They do not care about you. They don't care whether you live or die. They'd rather you die. Then you start to ask yourself this question. Well, if they don't care about me, then why are they making me put a seatbelt on when I get in the car? Why do they want me to wear a mask, which you're not now, but you know before? Why do they want me to get vaccinated so bad? Why are they always talking about saving lives? They don't give a fuck about saving lives. That is the excuse they use, and all these fucking idiot liberals are so fucking stupid. I don't understand how stupid they can be because they're not. It's like the only aspect of their life that they're this stupid in. Like, I mean, a lot of these people are smart. They got, you know, they're knowledgeable, but they're just when it comes to seeing bullshit, they cannot fucking see it. I mean, it's, you know, the climate change thing is the craziest of all because the reason why climate change is tied to CO2 is very strategic because CO2 is energy. And if you can control energy, you can control a population. You can control their traveling abilities. You can get them eaten out of your hand then. Why do you think Bill Gates bought 275,000 acres of fucking farmland in the United States? Because he's up there. He's right in there with them. And all these goddamn liberals that honest to God, honestly, can just look at what we know right now. All right, we know that Trump's been investigated all these times and they haven't been able to stick anything on. And they've so obviously he hasn't done anything. I mean, if there was anything to find on him, Jack, if he farted in church when he was 12 years old, they'd know about it. And we know Joe Biden, at the very least, has admitted to extortion and bribery. And he's the big man that's on the fucking Hunter Biden's laptop. Forget about it. In fact, his son was sleeping with 14-year-olds and smoking crack and giving away American tax money to fucking Russian prostitutes. Forget that much. Joe Biden is implicated in all these underhanded deals. We know this. This is absolutely, without a doubt, proven fact. All right, and we also know that the FBI has been illegally, really, in a way, they've been persecuting Trump, and they haven't been able to find anything on him. That means there is nothing, because there's something they would have found it. Now, why can't liberals see this? I mean, this is common fucking sense. Do they just not have any common sense? Is that what it is? They just have no common sense. It just makes me so ill to scroll through my Facebook page and see people still defending these people. These people are fucking debaucherous, man. They're the worst people in the fucking world. And they don't care about you. If you can just get through your skull that they don't fucking care about you, then everything else falls into place. All these things are supposed to be doing for your own safety. No, they're not, because they don't give a fuck about your safety. So, obviously, there's an ulterior motive there. And, man, if people don't wise up, if Republicans, and I ain't never liked Republicans, don't get me wrong, but I do like this populist movement that's happening right there. I think it's our only hope of getting, it's our only hope of having any kind of life, man. And all these fucking communists, all these fucking Antifa-tards, I mean, they're grooming them to be the ones that fucking pull the goddamn ropes on the guillotines, I'll promise you. Because these people are robots. They're fucking robots, man. They're fucking communists. How can you even be one? I mean, you know, you want to talk about racism? The United States of America is the least racist place there's ever been in the history of whole history of mankind. I mean, we're a de facto melting pot. That's what we are. We bring everybody in, and we all fucking, you know, we all assemble into this American culture, and we get along. You know, I mean, yeah, some shit happened in the past that nobody today is even responsible for or suffered from. But, you know, this is all it is communism, man. I'm telling you. They changed bourgeoisie and proletariat into oppressor and oppressed. and then keep everything else. And that's all they've done. I mean, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. But I want to know who these liberals are that still think Joe Biden's a decent human being and that we need Democrats in office. When they're steady destroying everything. They're killing the middle class. When they're just destroying the middle class. They're flooding us with just wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of illegal immigrants. You know, and it's one thing, you tell us during COVID, we got to have this mask. We got to get finger fucked when we get on an airplane. But not them. They don't have to have any of this stuff. They know the carnage at the border. They know the drugs coming over is killing. We were having 50,000 deaths a year from fentanyl overdoses. We've had 100,000 plus the 2 years Biden's been in office. That has doubled. When's the last time you heard any of your fucking stupid ass liberal channels like MSNBC and CNN and NPR talk about that? Never. Because it's an embarrassment. How many of y'all know Iraq's being overrun right now? How many of y'all know that the embassy's already been evacuated and they're probably the Iraqi government's going to fall? How many of y'all know that? I mean, it ain't but a couple of people watching, but some will, hopefully in the future. But this is not something that's being... Biden is sitting back and letting it happen. I mean, we could send a fucking task force over there and stop that shit right in a second. Look what we did in Afghanistan. You think that's an accident? No, it's not. They do not want peace in the Middle East. That's another reason they hate Trump. Because Trump was actually making peace in the Middle East. They're like, whoa, that's our cash cow. We can't have no peace over there. You fucking crazy? But what kind of fucking sick motherfuckers, for their own personal benefit and for their own lifestyle, would allow such suffering for normal people? I mean, these people are fucking sick, man. And all these people that believe, it drives me insane. It really does, because I just cannot understand it. I mean, it's black and white. It's factual information. Biden's a true fucking criminal. He's trying to start a fucking civil war right now. Did you see his speech the other night with the Marines behind him where he was talking about... I mean, these people are trying to say MAGA... The populist movement in America is the most dangerous movement they've ever encountered, and they've seen ISIS, they've seen the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany's is somewhat within living memory. I mean, I know it's getting, but there's people that were living back then still. My dad was. I mean, it's like Pol Pot, fucking the Vietnam communists, fucking China, Mao's 50 million he killed, and they're going to sit here and try and tell us that these hard-working Americans that just don't want their fucking guns taken away and don't want their kids taught perverted shit behind their backs and they don't want their children raised on this critical race theory crap. That's the most dangerous thing they've ever seen? No, that's a lie. They're trying to scare what few people they got left, and it's working on some of them. But these people are just dumb people. I mean, they've got to be the stupidest people that I've ever fucking heard of on this whole planet. And it's just sad, because I know a lot of them. And in some ways, they're not so stupid. I think it's pride. It's just such a great game they're playing on these people. It's like, they've gave them their little bubblegum degrees, and they've made them think that they're smart. They've tricked them into thinking it. So they've instilled this sense of pride in them that makes them not be able to admit when they're wrong. And if they admit one little thing in their ideology is wrong, then everything else crumbles, because it's a house of cards. That's why I'm trying to give some good advice here. Just if you just realize they don't care about you, then you get it, because everything else crumbles then. So I don't know what to do, man, about this. It's like I've preached to people till I'm blue in the face, and I've got a lot of liberal friends. I'm really a good crossover, because all the people that I was in Boone for almost 25 years, and I adore the people. I adore them there, and I'd say they're 95% the people I'm talking about. And so I've got a really good chance to really try to get through some of these people, man. But it's fucking tough. I just don't understand. It's like talking to a brick wall. Makes me feel like dancing. let you go. And if longing for you now could only bring me back somehow, you'd be back here in my loving arms, I know. On my mind, on my mind, you're always in my heart, on my mind. Once I thought my love would die, but darling, here's what I find. You're always in my heart and on my mind. So I don't know what we're going to do, guys. We just got to keep preaching the gospel. We got to break them from this conditioning, because if we don't, this country's history, man, it's done. It's done. Period. And that's going to be a sad, sad, sad day, because this is a good place. This place is the light to the whole world. How dare them cast those kinds of aspersions at us? We're racist. Yeah, right. Man, we've taken care of so many fucking people from every country in the whole fucking world, man. We're open arms. We're letting them in right now by the fucking millions. And although I do disagree with what they're doing, I enjoy meeting these people. They're all, North Carolina's one of the biggest places they're going to. You know, and hell, where my mom lives, her neighborhood, I call it Little Mexico. But for people to cast those types of aspersions at us, Americans, like the open arm to the world, the bosom, somewhere, it's when there's no America to go to seek refuge from these tyrants that have taken over this planet. It's gonna be a sad, sad fucking day. That's all I gotta say. Later, guys.